Hey fellas, PV2 Smurf here. Alright fellas, welcome back. We're going to run our microphone up this A-pillar. I'm going to actually mount the external mic up here. The reason why, if the passenger needs to speak, they could hear it come out in another location. But on our 2009 Tacoma that we did the timing chain cover removal, which I'll post a link to it up in the description right up here. In the 2009, I ran the microphone up there and had zero issue, and it worked very well for me. So I'm going to do the same with this microphone. Plus, it's out of the way. It's not in the dash. Doesn't impact any of the views of anything on the dash. So first thing we got to do is remove the trim pieces. Like the Tacoma, like the 2016 and the 09, there's no screws in this to have to take loose. These should just snap off. There's one black trim piece that's located here, and it goes like this. When you look to the left side of the steering wheel, on the back side of it, there's a clip like this at the bottom. You have to pull that loose, and then this piece actually slides up and into this piece that runs down. This is a gray panel. Your panel might be a different color, but remember, you got to take the bottom one loose first, and then it'll pull out and slide down because there's a groove in it right here, and we want to make sure we get that loose. You don't want to break that. Snap it off. I'll show you the back of it when I get to it. Right here above where the seat belt's located at, this piece goes under this piece. So once you pop, you just need to pop loose a little bit. You have access to remove this out all the way. So you don't have to take this all the way off. But in the event you do, it just pops off. There's snaps on it. So you can go on around. This is the removal tool that's actually made to remove emblems off a car. As you can see, it's got a lot of wear on it. This won't scratch the interior, and that's important to me. Not that Buster has to be pristine, but no point in tearing him up. Plus it's kind of thick, give you a little leverage. Just like that, the panel should come loose. It's ours. Here there's two snaps. If your thing's wobbling or bouncing around, it's these two snaps. What I was able to do is when I got it loose, I was able to pry it off, and I'll show you a closer view of that. Basically, I was able to get this piece down just enough. I was able to do it. I could see this snap down in there, and I just took my wedge thing and just pried it down. And once I did, as you can see, it perforated. Pulled that snap right once I was able to do that and pry it a little bit. Once I did it come loose, there's one there. There's one down there. See, that one looks different, but it's got a gray guide. And once you do that, this piece right here, as you can see the connections, there's the one in the back, the two in the back, by the seat belt, in the middle, that one, and then that one down there. And then once you do that, this A panel should come loose for you. See these other wires? We're going to try to run our new wires with these wires. The only wires run, this one has a sunroof in it. My assumption is, without taking this loose, one of these run to the sunroof. The other one should run to the dome lights. Coat hangers run down. Have the wire for my camera and the wire for my microphone. And all I'm going to do is tape it to it and pull it up. Do the same thing for the other one. Contained behind this panel is the motor that runs the sunroof, as well as you can get access to change the antenna on the car in the event that it breaks because of the way it's made, as well as reach other connections such as your lighting. So what I've done was run the wires up. Here's the connection to the camera. What I've done with the camera was run the connection down for the dash cam, and I run it down the front of the dash. And I zip tied the camera to the rearview mirror, and I just notched this panel with a die grinder just to fuzz, and I was able to run my microphone out. For our last installation, to completely install this head unit, we're going to install the backup camera. The backup camera is wired in this fashion. So what I'm going to do is start at the back of the vehicle and work my way towards the front. This is the original camera connector. As soon as I went to pull it through one of the grommets, it broke. This is the original one. They actually sent me this entire kit free. this grommet right here has a tracking that goes all the way up right in here, and it runs it up and all the way over here, and then I'm gonna have it right here. This will be my wiring, and then I can figure out where I'm gonna mount it from then. So I know I need to get it up to here. First thing I'm gonna do is remove this grommet. You can peel this off, but you can't run these wires straight up through here, and I'm going to show you why. Around the edge of it here, there's a clip. There's one on this side. There's one located on this side. Those 3 clips there, they have to be, you have to stick in there and prime inside. Then you'll be able to move this hard plastic, and I'll show you why you need to do that. 1, 2, there's 3. This is in here and it has that wire taped to it, so you can't feed another wire beside of it by the way it's made. So you have to take this loose to run this wire in here, or you could possibly cut a mark out in this grommet here and run it, but that's taped on there, so this has to come loose in order to feed these wires up through here. Now we're going to fish your coat hanger from top to bottom, and we're going to pull the wire back through. Don't forget you got to remove this grommet as well. This one's a little trickier because it's right in behind this latch right here. Well, from the looks up, somebody's took it loose before because it's broke. Another thing you're going to see me use throughout this video is this. Pure silicone spray is the best for getting stuff through these grommets right here, and allow this grommet to move a lot easier. See the force to move that? Spray a little bit down in there and it'll move really easy, just to make your hands slippery, but trust me, it's very well needed. Easy that moves now. So easy that moves now. Generally no friction at all, and that's what we want. I'm going to take this in, which goes to the camera. I'm going to run it through this boot, through that boot, and then we're going to pull it through. The reason being is so that way we got this end in place. We don't need to fish all of it back through these grommets. What I'm going to do is use a screwdriver, and I'm going to open that grommet just enough where I can feed it through. Remember to go really easy when fishing is through here. If there's any resistance, you want to stop, because as before it happened, it ripped. I believe it was right here. You don't want to pull on the wire to get it through. You want to push on the connection point like that. But with silicone, as it's got on here now, it's pretty easy. These wires, these red and black wires that are located here, or as the diagram you can see here, they go to the tail light. But what we want to do is we want to run them with factory wiring so we can zip tie to them. As you can see, we've run a wire through a grommet, got everything run up. Got it run right here with the factory wires. I'm just going to let this hang. The camera has another extension on it. If I need a little longer, I can pull a little more slack. One thing to make note of, make sure you slide these boots back over these plastic pieces before you put them on there. Otherwise, the grommet's not going to go completely over it, and it's not going to seal like it's supposed to. Fed the brake light wire, red and black wire, down and brought it in through here. Now I'm going to run it out the factory grommet. It's located behind this panel here. Same thing, you get this wire through, silicone spray. finally. See, I just pulled this carpet down and you can see the wires and where they run. I could probably tap into the brake lights right here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to tap in them right at the source. But you can also see where the wires run the car. So now I'll be able to just run my wires with those wires. This also exposes where you change the rear shock at, in case you didn't know that. So all I'm doing now is just running these wires up and into the cab. This access panel right here hides where the wires run down in, so I'm going to remove it as well. Now by removing that panel right there, you can see the wires where they run. So I've done is run a clothes hanger from there into the door seal. And now I'm just going to attach those through and just pull that through so that way I don't have to remove this panel right here. So I run the wire along there. Move this panel so I can run the wire here. So as with the other wires I've run. Could be a little better, I know. Run it over. Remove the head unit. There's a spot on it. It's shown here. It says back. And then it says pink. In the directions it says connect pink reversing trigger wire. Well, the wire that's on here, there's only one that's pink, but it says back car connect. So that's the one I connected to because none of the rest of them have that on it. So now we're going to make our connections for a reverse light switch, which powers the camera. Already verified on the reverse light, the black wire located here is ground and green with black on it is positive. One thing that I did purchase that did not come with the radio was this kit. I chose to use this kit because this bracket allows me to hang it on a license plate. I do not want to drill holes in a buster. Some of y'all may not mind. It may be an actual bumper and not the trunk, and it doesn't really matter. You could drill into the bumper, no problem. It comes with all the hardware. But I didn't want to drill in the buster, it being a trunk, so I bought this kit, relatively cheap, as you've seen. This is the kit we're going to use that's going to install this backup camera to the back of buster. I don't want to put it up here because, as you can see here, this is where you put your hand and raise the trunk up with. Plus, I know Toby will end up ripping it off if he goes to get in. He'll grab camera and all, and then you'll have to readjust it. So I want to put it on the bottom. I have a couple options. I can remove one of these right here, which is just an insert. I could drill a little bit bigger, run the cable out, make sure I protect the cable where it's coming through the metal here. Still have enough room for the screw that'll go in here, but the cable will come through beside of it. Concern with doing that is water maybe getting inside here and down in the bottom of the trunk here. It's solid, so water would sit in here and it would cause it to rust. We don't want that. We also don't want water in here by no means. Second option, drill a hole somewhere here, bring it out, and then the camera would go here and it'd be behind the plate and you'd never see it. Where with that is it pinching and binding the cable, and we don't want that because you don't want it to quit working. Third option, which is the one we're going to be doing, is this top piece all the way across here with the emblem located on it. All this comes off of the actual trunk itself. So what I'm going to do is remove it and run it from it. And the reason being is I can make sure that the water doesn't come in up here because there should be a seal. Two, if I run it, I can notch it somewhere through here and bring it down because there's already power running here. So wires already run here. I can run the cable down this way. So that way if water does hit this coming down, it's not going to run maybe behind the plate and cause a leak. So that's what we're going to do to run our reverse camera. The trunk up and all the mechanism exposed. Located down in here, you see one fastener and one guide. In the middle, one fastener and one guide. Then you remove this cover, which is pinch here. So I'm going to do it one-handed. One in the back goes to the locking mechanism. One in the front, the one that goes to the trim piece we're removing. These fasteners that are in here, these nuts, they're 10 millimeters. You probably get away using a wrench. This is my stubby one that we bought. I'm probably just going to use this, but they're 10 millimeters. With all the fasteners removed, we now have access to run our wires through. So our final routing, we're going to run the cable here, then located right here. There's on each side, that's where the wiring comes through for your third brake light. I'm just going to run it right outside of it. I'm going to run it on this side. You may run yours on the right side, but I'm going to run it right out here. In case you were wondering, how do I know I plugged this in correctly? Well, it has 2 arrows on it on each side. I'll try to zoom in for you. See the 2 arrows? It also has a notch inside the end, in which it only goes one way. There's your final install. Let's see if it works. Took a winner to me.